Good day, YouTube. Welcome to mathgotserved.com. And this clip, we're going to be going over our algebra review part 1. Alright, question 1 reads, which expression most accurately represents the difference between double a number and triple a number? So we're going to call that number x. Let's just call it x, okay? Why are we using x? If you look at the options that we have, the variable term is x. Now, what does double and triple mean? So you have to remember that the double is to multiply by 2, okay? And then triple is to multiply by 3. And then what does difference mean? To find a difference, it means that you subtract. Okay, so if we want to create an algebraic expression using double a number and triple a number, it's going to be double the number, which is 2 times x, and the difference is minus, triple the number is 3 times x. If we simplify this expression, we'll have 2x minus 3x. Answer to number 1 is option letter A. Alright, let's look at number 2. It reads, cars in a factory are producing an assembly line each day at 8x cars a day. How many cars are produced in 9 days? So this is a quantity, rate, time problem. So you have to remember the formula for relating quantity, rate, and time. Okay? So quantity is equal to rate times time. Or you can think about it as the QWERT formula. Okay? In this particular situation, the quantity is how many cars are produced. And then the rate is 9 cars per day. And the time is 9 days. Okay, so let's write it down. The rate is how fast are the cars produced. It's given by the expression 8x plus 2. The time is how long are you producing for? 9 days. Is 8x plus 2 cars per day. And then the quantity is how many. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So if we plug all these into the formula, the QWERTY formula, quantity equals rate times time, we're going to have the quantity, the number of cars produced, equals the rate, 8x plus 2 multiplied by 9. Alright? And then using the reflexive property of equality, this is exactly the same thing as 9 times 8x plus 2. So the answer is option letter E. Alright, let's take a look at number 3. We have to simplify the expression 2 times 2x plus 6y minus 6z plus 6 times 2x plus y minus 2z. So first things first, we are going to have to distribute. Why do we distribute? Whenever you have a parenthesis and a number in front, you're going to multiply, okay? But since you have multiple terms in the parentheses, the process is called distribution because you are distributing or multiplying the 2 or the number in front across every single term in the parentheses. Okay? So the same applies to the second set of terms. 6 gets distributed to every single term in the parentheses. So as a result, we're going to have 4x plus 12y minus 12z. And then we have 12x. 6 times 2 is 12x. 6 times y is 6y. Minus 6 times 2z is 12z. Now we're going to combine like terms. 4x and 12x have the same variable and degree. So we add the coefficients. 4 plus 12 is 16. So we're going to have 16. Add the coefficients and then x. Okay. And then we are going to combine the y's. 12y plus 6y. What is 12 plus 6? 12 plus 6 is 18. So that's plus 18y. And then the last one is the z's, negative 12 minus 12. Okay? So what is that? Well, let's do the y's first. The y's, we did 12 plus 12, which is 24 for the y. And then for the z's, we're looking at negative 12 minus 12. Now, when you're adding two numbers or combining two numbers with the same sign, you add and keep the sign, okay? So you add 12 and 12, and then you keep the sign minus 24. So this would be minus 24 z. And your final answer is option letter C. All right, let's take a look at question 4. It says, which expression simplifies to get 5p? So all we just have to do is simplify all these expressions and see which one gives us 5p. Okay, let's start with the first one. 6p minus 5pq plus 2p minus 3p minus 5pq. So if we combine 6p and 2p and negative 3p, that's 6 plus 2 minus 3. 6 plus 2 minus 3. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then when you minus 3, you get 5. So that's going to be 5p. And then negative 5pq minus 5pq. So you just add in the coefficients, okay? Negative 5 minus 5, the signs are the same, so you add and keep the sign. So that's negative 10pq. So this is not 5p, so the answer is not A. Let's look at B. For B, we have 6p minus 5pq minus 2p plus 3p plus 5pq. Okay, so we're going to combine like terms. 6p minus 2p plus 3p. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, so for the p's, we're going to have 7p. And then for the pq's, minus 5 plus 5, that adds up to 0. So 7p is the answer. We can see that option B is not the answer we want. And then C, 6p minus 5pq plus 2p minus 3p plus 5pq. Alright, so we have 6 plus 2 minus 3. These are the p's, okay? 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. So we have 5p. And then negative 5pq plus 5pq adds up to 0. So the answer is 5p. So the answer is option letter C. All right, let's take a look at number 5. It reads, at a department store during the holidays, an employee is expected to wrap medium-sized boxes in 5 minutes each. If the boxes were to be wrapped at this rate over 4 hours, which proportion can be used to find the number of gifts wrapped? So we're looking at boxes per minute. Okay, so boxes is the first measure that we're dealing with. And then per minute, that's the time value. Okay, how do we know it's minutes? Because we're given the rate in minutes. Now, let's set up the first ratio. It's 5 boxes per each minute. Okay, So we're going to have, no, we have $1 per 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes you have $1. So $1 for every 5 minutes. Okay? And then the question is, um, find the number of gifts wrapped, the number of boxes in 4 hours. Okay? So let's call x the number of boxes. Okay, so let x be the number of boxes. Okay, so we don't know what it is, so we're going to call that x. And then we want to know how many boxes in 4 hours. So the question is, do we put 4 here? The answer is no. Why not? The unit for time that we're using is minutes. So what we have to do is we have to change 4 hours to minutes. Okay, 4 hours, we're going to change it to minutes. So we know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, so how many minutes are there in 4 hours? 4 hours is going to simply be 4 times 60, okay, which is 240 minutes. All right, so you're going to have x boxes in 240 minutes. The answer to question number 5 is D. All right, let's take a look at question 6. It reads, a recipe for a chocolate chip cookie requires 5 cups of flour for 2 dozen cookies. Angie is making 48 cookies for a bake sale. Question, which proportion can Angie use to determine how many cups of flour she'll need? All right, so in this particular case, we're looking at cups per dozen cookies. So we have cups per dozen cookies. All right, so the first ratio is 5 cups for 2 dozen cookies, 5 over 2. Okay, and then the second ratio is I'm just making 48 cookies. Which proportion can we use to determine how many cups? So let x be the number of cups. Okay? So we're going to have that be 12. So 48 cookies. Do we put 48 here as the number of cookies? The answer is no. That's 48 cookies, but we're looking at dozens, okay? Dozen cookies is the denominator. So if we have 48 cookies, how many dozens is that? Remember that 12 equals 1 dozen. So you basically divide by 12, okay? So 48 cookies, you divide that by 12, you get 4. So 48 cookies is equivalent to 4 dozen cookies, okay? So you're going to have 12 over, so the number of cookies we need is x. The number of cups is x. And then the number of cookies, dozen cookies, is 4 dozen, which is equivalent to 48 cookies. So the answer is option C. Number 7 reads, Ferb has a bag of 4 blue pens, 5 green pens, and 3 pink pens. What is the probability that he chooses a pink pen? So probability of an event is desired outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes, okay? All right, so probability of getting a pink is going to be the number of pink pens divided by the total number of pens. All right. So how many pink pens are there? There are 3 pink pens. And then the total number of pens is going to be 4 plus 5 plus 3. So we have 9 plus 3, which is 12. Okay, so it's going to be 3 over 12. And we can simplify that by dividing by 3, top and bottom. And your final answer will be 1 over 4. Answer is option letter B. Alright, let's take a look at question 8. So Mary has 22 colored hair clips in a bag. The table shows the number of red, pink, green, black, red, and blue hair clips. Question: what is the probability that she randomly drew a hair clip that is green? Okay, so this is the same probability problem we did just like the previous one. So probability of getting a green will be the number of green pens she has, number of green clips, divided by the total number of clips, total number of clips. Okay, so how many green clips are there? There are 6 green clips in all, and then the total number of clips, you just add them all. We're also told that there are 22 of them. So 6 over 22 is your answer. We can go ahead and reduce that. Reduce that, just simply divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So 6 over 22, which is the same thing as 2 over 11. Okay, so the unsimplified form for question number 8 is option E, 6 over 22. Alright, let's take a look at question 9. It says, over the quarter, John has an average test score of 90 on 8 tests. He looked through his tests and could only find 7. The score of the 7 tests are 88, 96, 84, 86, 82, 98, and 92. What is the score of the missing test that got him the average score of 90? So let's start with a formula. Formula for average. Average is number of numbers divided by the total. No, let's flip this around. It's going to be the sum of numbers divided by the total number of numbers. Okay, so sum of numbers divided by the number of numbers. Okay, so in this particular case, we're missing the 8th score. Let's call that x. So let x be the 8th score. So the average is 90. Okay, and then that equals the sum of 8 tests. So we have, what we have here is, we have a set 88, 96, 84, 86, 82, 98, 92. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's a missing score x. We don't know what that is. But we know that when we average this, the average is going to be 90. So the average is 90. Okay. Alright, so we want to find the sum of numbers. We're just going to add all these numbers. We're going to add 88 plus 96 plus 84 plus 86 plus 82 plus 98 plus 92 plus the last number, which is x. We don't know what that is. That's the sum of numbers, and then we're going to divide that by the number of numbers. Okay, how many numbers are we dealing with here? A total of 8. So let's go ahead and calculate the average score. So we're going to just basically add up all these numbers. Alright, if you add up all these numbers with your calculator, you'll end up with 626. So 90 equals 626 plus the last number divided by 8. Okay? And then go ahead and multiply. We want to get x by itself, so we multiply by 8 both sides. Out. 8 times 90 is 720. And then you subtract 626 from both sides. And then if you do that with your calculator, you end up with the final answer. So subtract 626. Your final answer, x, is going to be equal to, so we borrow 1 here, you have, this is 10, 4, and then you have a 1, borrow another 1, 11 minus 2 is 9, so your answer is 94, D. Alright, let's take a look at question 10. It says the temperature for 5 days is shown in the table. If if on the 6th day the temperature is 90 degrees, by how much will this increase the overall mean temperature? Okay, so we're looking for change in average or change in mean. So the formula that we're going to use, we're going to use two formulas. First of all, remember what the mean formula is. Mean is equal to the sum of numbers divided by the number of numbers. And then the change in mean is simply going to be your final mean minus the initial mean. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and find the two means. We'll start with the initial mean. So the initial mean is before you added the additional number, okay? So the initial mean is going to be 83 plus 82 plus 85 plus 83 plus 87. That's the initial mean. And then divide that by the number of numbers initially, which is 5. If you add up all these numbers with your calculator, you get 420. If you divide that by 5, you will have 84. So that's the initial mean. The final mean is going to be 83 plus 82 plus 85 plus 83 plus 87. And then you add the next one, the last one, which is 90. And then you divide the entire thing by the number of numbers. Since we have one more, it's now 6. So we have 510 divided by 6. And if you divide that with your calculator, you get 85. Okay? So the change in mean is going to be 85 minus 84, which is 1. Alright, so the answer is A. Alright, so let's take a look at question number 11. It says, a McDonald's branch on Nellis offers 10 types of burgers and 12 types of drinks. How many different burger drink combinations can someone order? Okay, so for this one, all you just have to do is take a look at the, use the fundamental counting principle. Alright, so the fundamental counting principle just basically involves multiplying the number of choices you have for each component in order to get the number of combinations. Okay, so the number of burger drink combination is just simply a product of the number of different ways you can select burgers multiplied by the number of different ways you can select drinks. Okay, so that's what the fundamental counting principle tells us. So we have 10 different types of burgers, 10 different choices, and 12 types of drinks. Okay, so all you just simply do is multiply 10 by 12, and your final answer is 120. The answer to question 11 is option letter C.